Your property tax bill nearly equals your mortgage. DeSantis just called a special session to wipe out the first $250,000. Ohio filed 413,000 signatures to abolish it entirely. Watch this video and protect yourself because the trap has been set. The average American homeowner paid $4,427 in property tax last year on a home worth $494,000, the highest effective rate since 2020. In Florida, property tax revenue nearly doubled in 7 years. In Texas, it is up 160% in a decade. The bill keeps rising and your home value does not have to. But something is happening right now that has not happened in nearly 50 years. 5 states are simultaneously moving to break the system that makes this possible. What they are doing could save the average Florida homeowner $1,800 a year. It could also collapse school budgets, gut fire departments, and shift the entire burden somewhere else. Today, you are going to find out what is actually being done, where it could genuinely get better, and what the worst case looks like if it fails. State and local property tax revenue in 2024 hit $797 billion, up 8.2% from the year before. $396.8 billion of that came from single-family homes alone. In Cook County, Illinois, the median residential bill rose 16.7% to $4,457 in a single year, the largest one-year jump in 30 years. In Travis County, Texas, median market values rose 209% from 2011 to 2022, with assessments tracking the entire way up. Montana home appraisals jumped 60% in a single year. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis put his own state's number directly on the table. Property tax revenue collected by local governments nearly doubled in 7 years, from $32 billion to $60 billion, projected to hit $83 billion by 2032. He called it perpetual. Truly owning private property, he said, should not mean perpetually paying rent to the government. Texas' total property tax in 2024 reached $125 billion, up 160% in a decade. What most homeowners never hear explained is called the assessment lag. County appraisers do not update valuations in real time. They run on 12 to 24-month cycles. When home prices surged from 2020 through 2022, assessments followed that surge upward on a delay. When prices flattened or fell from 2023 onward, the assessments did not correct at the same speed. The homeowner sitting in a flat or declining market today is paying taxes calculated against a peak that no longer exists. This is not an accident. It is how the system is structured. In Westchester County, New York, the average annual property tax bill is $18,386. Marin County, California, $16,745. Bergen County, New Jersey, $14,443. These are not buyers of luxury new construction. These are existing homeowners, many of them retired, paying annual bills that exceed the monthly mortgage payment most households carry in lower cost states. More than 20 million Americans over 50 are already spending more than 30% of their income on housing. Housing analyst Nick Gurley of Reventure Consulting ran the full picture. Mortgage plus property tax plus homeowner insurance now equals 39.7% of median household income. The historical norm is 23%. That 17-point gap is the forced sale threshold. When property tax pushes a fixed income household past that line, the next bill is not a housing cost. It is the bill that takes the house. Ron Shoemate is 83 years old. He testified at a public hearing and put the policy case in one sentence. The American dream is to own a home and be comfortable. And if you are relying on Social Security, that is not going to happen. He is not a policy analyst. He is what the data actually looks like when it lands on a specific person in a specific house. This has happened before. In the 1970s, California home prices nearly tripled in less than a decade. Tax bills doubled and tripled for homeowners on fixed incomes who had no income growth to absorb the reassessments. A retired toolmaker named Howard Jarvis and a businessman named Paul Gann decided not to wait for Sacramento to fix it. No PAC money, no corporate backing, no media support. They organized from church bulletins and grocery store parking lots, building a petition drive on one idea. A homeowner who already paid for their property should not be taxed out of it by a government that keeps spending.
Hey everyone, real quick, let me throw out an idea. If you want to refinance a house someday, buy a house or buy rentals, you're going to need a mortgage. And I put together 2 courses that'll blow your mind. You'll walk away knowing more about mortgages than most brokers. I'm not joking, because most brokers don't cover every loan. And so I'm going to show you how to save thousands of dollars at closing and how to save tens of thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. Now let's just get back to that video.
On June 6, 1978, California voters passed Proposition 13 with nearly 2/3 support. The amendment capped property tax at 1% of assessed value, with annual increases limited to 2% unless ownership changed. It was the largest property tax reduction in California history. The movement fed directly into Ronald Reagan's presidential campaign 2 years later. One state, 2 organizers, 2 years to reshape the direction of the country. Now look at the map. On June 2nd, 2026, the Florida legislature passed a constitutional amendment during a special session. The House voted 75 to 26. The Senate voted 30 to 9. The measure raises the homestead exemption, the portion of a primary home's value shielded from taxation, from $50,000 to $150,000 in 2027 and $250,000 in 2028. At $250,000, roughly 60% of Florida homeowners owe 0 property tax. At $500,000, the number reaches 92%. The amendment goes to Florida voters this November and requires 60% approval to pass. Broward County estimates 400,000 residents save an average of $1,800 annually, but the county loses $330 million. Miami-Dade loses approximately $500 million. Hillsborough County projects 13 taxing authorities lose a combined $725 million within 2 years, including $247 million from schools. DeSantis was direct. These are not people that founded Google. These are working class, middle class people. In Ohio, Brian Massey and Beth Blackmar's organizations have collected over 300,000 signatures toward 413,487 required from 44 of 88 counties by July 1st. The 44 county distribution requirement has already been met. The amendment would abolish all property taxes on real property in Ohio entirely. $21 billion annually is at stake. Lake County Commissioner John Plechnick, one of the few elected officials on record supporting abolishment, said it plainly. People are not saying, please tax me in new and different ways. They are saying they are overtaxed. In California, the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association, the same organization Jarvis built after 1978, is gathering signatures for a November 2026 ballot initiative. In Texas, Governor Abbott has a reform proposal active. In Illinois, Cook County carries $143.5 billion in unfunded pension obligations. The annual pension payment has grown from $614 million in fiscal 1996 to $11.2 billion in fiscal 2025. That obligation is baked directly into the property tax bill, and it has nowhere to go but up. 5 states, 5 separate pressure points, no national coordinator, all moving in the same direction at the same time, driven by the same math and the same fixed income households being priced out of homes they already own. Before the deadlines pass, here are 4 moves that apply regardless of what state you are in. First, pull your current county assessment and compare it against recent sales of comparable homes in your zip code from the last 90 days. If your assessed value is higher than what similar homes are actually selling for right now, you have documented grounds for a formal appeal. Most counties allow 30 to 90 days from the assessment notice to file. The appeal is free and requires only the comparable sales data from your county recorder's public database and a one-page form. Second, run the Gurley calculation on your own household. Add your mortgage payment, your annual property tax divided by 12, and your homeowner insurance. If that number exceeds 30% of your monthly take-home income, you are already in the forced sale zone, and the next assessment cycle will push you further in without intervention. Third, if you are in Florida, the November ballot is the specific moment. 60% of voters must approve. Find out whether your county has a voter registration drive tied to this amendment and make sure everyone in your household is registered before the cutoff. Fourth, if you are in Ohio, the AXOH tax petition deadline is July 1st. Every signature between now and then is the margin between this reaching the ballot and the campaign waiting until 2027. Two futures, both real, both already in motion. If Florida passes in November and California follows in 2026, the revenue shortfall lands immediately on local governments that have built every budget around the assumption that property tax keeps rising. School districts, fire departments, infrastructure maintenance, municipal pension payments, all of it modeled on perpetual assessment growth. Florida's amendment alone pulls $8.4 billion out of local budgets annually. Governments do not simply spend less when revenue disappears. They shift the burden. Sales taxes rise, fees rise, municipal services contract. The homeowner who wins the tax reduction in year one may find the roads, the schools, and the emergency response in their county quietly degraded by year three. That is the best case. The revolt works, property taxes fall, and the system absorbs the shock imperfectly, but the homeowner keeps the house. The other future is the revolt stalls. Florida falls below 60% in November. Ohio misses July 1st. California stalls. And the math Gurley confirmed does not reverse on its own. Governments do not voluntarily correct assessments downward. The 39.7% burden keeps climbing. The 20 million seniors already spending more than 30% of income on housing become 30 million. Inventory in Florida, Texas, and Arizona, already at decade highs, keeps rising as seniors sell not by choice, but by arithmetic. The people being displaced are not moving to better situations. They are liquidating decades of equity because a tax bill calculated against a market that peaked years ago never came back down, and nobody challenged it in time. Howard Jarvis was 65 years old when he started gathering signatures in grocery store parking lots. The political establishment told him it could not be done. He passed it with 2/3 of California and changed the direction of the country in 2 years. The difference is he had one state. This is running in 5. The assessment on your home reflects a market that may no longer exist. In 10 years, will you still be in that house? Or will a bill calculated against a number that was never real be the thing that finally made the decision for you? Stay informed. Economic Ninja is out.